So what do I mean by business model? Well, there are so many definitions for this. So here are some businesses today. The largest phone companies own no telco infrastructure. We heard this from Satoya last night. Skype, WeChat. The most popular media owners create no content. The world's largest movie house owns no cinemas. The world's largest taxi company owns no taxis. The largest software vendors don't write apps. The world's most valuable retailer has no inventory. The largest accommodation provider provides no real estate. The world is changing, and service design is really important. But you've got to think about how to monetize, and how do you decide to go and do one of these things? Well, you've got to think about your business model. They've all got business models that make them money without having assets. So what is a business model then? This is a definition I took from a textbook. A business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. How do we add value to our customers? Yeah? And how do we make money from it? So this is a tool that you might have come across before. Hands up anybody who's done business model canvas work before. Excellent. So we've got some experts in the room that will help the rest of their team, and I'm really glad that they're spread out across the teams, because that will help the rest of the team get on board. Now, we cannot do full training on the business model canvas here today. This is a way for us to show you there are tools to help you with these things through. It's just another thing in your toolbox. It's a lo-fi tool. I've drawn them on the floor for us to do an exercise with. You can do this on whiteboards in your office, but the key is that we're trying to think about all the different aspects of what makes a business, and the guys who designed and came up with this model, they realized that you can actually do this quite succinctly, quite quickly, to get your thinking going. Now, this is not a business proposal. This is not digging deep into the numbers and figuring out if I make money, right? This is us starting to think about how we make money and how we might create a service. So, first of all, these two boxes will be very familiar. There's an order to how you fill this in that will help you get your brains in mind. So we've been doing this already. Customer segment. Think about your target customers and users. Do not tell me that you can target the whole of Tanzania, the unbanked. Tell me your specific segment. And even think about the characteristics of your early adopters, because we know viral growth is really important. So what's different about your early adopters to the ones who will come along later? That's another thought to think about. Then, what is your unique value proposition? We've been doing this exercise this morning. What is your clear, compelling message that says why you are different and worth paying attention to? Yeah? But we all know that we have to get our product out there. So how are we going to reach our customers? What are we going to use for awareness, for delivery of our product service, and after sales? Thinking about the whole journey. What are the channels and customer relationship points that we need? Technical or not technical, we don't actually look here and think this is just for tech projects. We actually think about, what are they willing to pay for? What will they pay for? What will they pay? How much will they pay? What do they currently pay for? And there might be multiple revenue streams. You may well find that there's revenue from different segments of your business. It doesn't all come from the customers. Okay, so if we're going to do this business, what are the most important things that we have to do really well? Think about what we need to do. Then think about what partners we need. So if you're running a business that requires mobile money, well then your mobile money partners have to be in that box. If you require them for your business to be a success, start to think about it. Who else do you need? Do you need VAS providers? Do you need agents? Do you need aggregators? Who do you need? Also, if you need tech, put it in there. If you need a platform, if you need to build things, if you have things, if there's key resources that you must have for this project to succeed, talk about it. Then, because of all these things, we know that we're going to incur costs. What costs are we going to incur? What are the most important costs? Start to bring them out. We know that if we have an agent network as our channel for distribution, we're going to have to pay for them. If we are doing some radio campaigns, we need to pay for them. We need to actually pay for the radio campaigns to be created even. So, but just think about the topics, not about the actual money. Think about the things that you'll need to think about. This box is so important to me. If you start a project not knowing your vision of where you're going, what does success look like is so, so important. So let's actually think about how we're going to measure ourselves. We'll talk a bit more about that later on today too, but to think about how we're going to measure ourselves. And the final box is, why will we succeed? Yeah? Why would we succeed and not the competitors? What's special about us? That's a hard box to fill in. Really hard. So it tends to be the hardest one, and it tends to be light, but it's worth thinking about. It's worth thinking about. So to run through an example, you'll find, I know the slides are quite small on this projector. There's a couple of pieces of paper on the table. This slide here and the next slide. It's small text. So there is a copy on everybody's table, and there's one spare copy if anybody wants it. I'm going to go through an example really, really quickly of a business that was in Kenya and I think came into Tanzania briefly. And GSMA put through a case study. Oh, okay. GSMA put a case study together. And this is GSMA's analysis of this business, Kopo Kopo. Do you all know Kopo Kopo? Anybody new to Kopo Kopo? Okay, the mix. Okay. Let's see if the business model canvas helps you explain. So Kopo Kopo are a merchant aggregator business in Kenya, and they provide extra tools for the merchants to help them manage their business in a very light way. That's what they do. So they looked at their business and went, I think there are two segments. We need to look at the small trader merchant style businesses separately to the high value merchants, the more corporate chains. We'll need to work out different business models for them. So there's two colours because of that. So what services are they going to offer merchants? For the little merchants, they're going to offer that they can pay electronically, they can enjoy better transaction security, they can get direct to bank services for banking settlement, and they can supply existing customer demand around merchant payments, so they can actually start to offer people, the ability to accept money different ways. And the bigger merchants, though, the value proposition is different. It's so that they can keep ongoing transaction records, they can do loyalty, they can do tracking if the less of the business is in cash, they can get visibility into their own business data because of the tools that they're going to build, and they can do more sophisticated value-added services in SMS marketing and services around credit and things for the bigger guys. How are they going to find these merchants? Okay, so they're going to try and acquire online, but they're also going to have, obviously, a sales force, an agent sales force trying to go out. But they'll also use channel partners, people who actually already own a network, other aggregators out there. But for the big guys, it's direct sales. It's phone calls, SMSs, emails, site visits. Different ways to get to those merchants. But what do they need? Wow. Well, the red is mobile money. They need the data from mobile money. They need to be able to get the real-time transactions. They need to be able to help build their systems based around mobile money data. They also need to be able to set the new accounts up really quickly. So they needed to go talk to the mobile money companies about that. But they also needed partners to get merchants, because if you haven't got any merchants, chicken and egg, yeah? Other things are there. They needed a software platform, they needed customer information, they needed connections to banks, all those kind of things, and they started to think about it. So they then decided that the most important things that they could be working on, they need an acquisition team, they need a merchant operations team. Once the merchants are live and they've said yes, they want to get on, we need to get them on quickly, doing that work. And then we need to get into analysis of merchant data. So they need people to get into analysing data. How are they going to make money? Well, they've decided they're going to propose to the mobile money operators and banks that they're going to revenue share. Yeah? So their business model is completely based on the success of this. They might also try reselling some SMSs and VAS to build some early revenue streams. So then they thought about the costs. Well, actually, the big one is they need merchant acquisition. That takes an army of people, and then an army of people to manage them. We all know about agent costs. You then need a team to look after sales to the bigger guys, but that's probably a smaller team. You need to manage your software platform then too, and you need to make sure that you look after your key partner, your mobile money provider, really well. Yeah? How are they going to measure themselves though? That's really important. If they're just about getting as many merchants as possible, the only thing they'd have on this page is merchant acquisition numbers. But actually their business model is revenue. And therefore it's really important that they start to look into transaction volumes and merchant acquisition cost and merchant lifetime value. How much money is that merchant making? Is he actually good for your system? How good a merchant is he? Yeah? So hopefully you can see the business model canvas. We can fill it in quite quickly. It's a way for us to think. Now, Copa could have come up with 3 or 4 different business models. Couldn't they? They could come up with different models, and they did. They iterated, and they came up with a model where they start to give loans to merchants because they looked at the data and they could see that they were good for the money. So they could create another canvas based on a different model. They could have created a different canvas based on different revenue streams. They had to iterate, but this is the one that stuck for them at the point they talked to GSMA. Now, I haven't filled in the box competitive advantage. What do you think Copa might have put in there? Anybody got any ideas about why Copa were the right company to try and do this, or not? What if they didn't think about this? What is competitive advantage? Any ideas?
What benefits you offer over your competitors?
Yeah, so maybe Pesapal or Copa's competitor. Why are Pesapal going to win and Copa don't? That's the things we need to think about. Yeah. So what? Even what's going to disrupt us in 2 years' time? What do we need to think about? What's going to be our competition even? So what makes a good competitive advantage? Give me some examples. Throw some things at me. What might be a good thing?
Customer service could also be a competitive advantage.
Okay, so the way that we word that probably is we really know how to do customer service well, and our competitors don't yet. Okay, so that's the way to think about it. What do we have in our business already that would make us stronger?
I was thinking about benefits. Which customer may get from it.
It's more in the value propositions. That's the value propositions. Because the thing is here, this is what can't be copied. What can't be copied? Think about these things. What can't be copied?
What about the fact that they are the first movers? So first movers competitive advantage.
A lot of people think that being first mover is competitive advantage. Pesapal, what do you think about that?
I think a fast mover is a very short-term competitive advantage because it doesn't mean if you did it fast, you get there fast.
Absolutely. Most people would react exactly the same way. They'd say, first mover, I can do this first, what you'll get is a short-term advantage, but then they'll come along and they'll spot your mistakes and they'll do it better.
It's what you've already said. I mean, there's a learning curve to being the first mover.
Yeah.
It can be extremely costly. And being the second or third mover, you do it a lot cheaper because you see the mistakes that are made. So it can be a liability.
Yeah, even think about the agent network. How much training was there to put into the agent network to be the first mover, right? How do you train people how to sell mobile money the first time? Versus you going in to that same agent who already knows and going, will you be our agent? Much cheaper, right? So any other ideas about competitive advantage? What do you think Safaricom have, and Vodacom maybe, that is competitive advantage?
When you're the only one in the field you're conducting your business, like SpaceX or Safaricom?
Okay, so Safaricom have a big market share. Vodacom maybe too. They have telco data, they have a distribution network, they have a really good brand. People trust them. Yeah? That's competitive advantage. So find what's special and think about it. But this is hard stuff, guys. Startups, this is not easy, right? But you can see it's important. It's important to actually think about why it is that we'd have traction. Why would we be sticky?
From my side, I think the quality of output.
Say again?
Quality of output make a lot of sense. The quality of output.
Right. So the quality of the service that you're offering is important. Now, do you think, I'm talking from an insider perspective, I think my platform that I built at Vodacom is the best in the world, right? But I didn't build Tigo's platform. Do you think that customers feel a different quality of service because their technology is better? I'm telling you, the technology is better in Vodacom. But I don't think it actually is the winning.
You're the one saying, but the customer need to test and see
Yes.
the difference between.
Yes. Exactly. At the end of the day, technology will win out. Good business processes will win out. Fast business processes, customer service and quality of service, but it can be copied. So what isn't copyable? Really think about it. What's special about your business that you've got? And what Ivanka was saying was very true. Your telcos have this massive customer base. They know their customers from the telco data. What can they be doing differently for them in the mobile money service providing? Banks have a customer base. Not every product has to be designed for the farmers. You can design B2B services. What services could the banks sell to the telco? The telco can be a customer. Yeah? And Mshwari is a wonderful example of that. The telcos couldn't do that themselves. There's regulatory issues, and there's lots of ways where collaboration and partnering, you can sell your business proposition to other businesses.
I think also on the competitive advantage, it's how you think about it is also a bit iterative. So you may have a proposition and a model. I think it's very important to know how you position yourself within the industry, and then you change based on that. So it's not one thing from the beginning, this is my business model.
Yeah.
And that's, you may need to see how you fit in and then change, tweak, because you have to appreciate the other people in the industry and how you can fit in.
Yes. That's so important. Your business model is not a static thing. You keep changing it. You think this, you test, you learn, you change. You get some level of success, you test, you learn, you change. You think about more ways to make money, more ways to reduce your costs. Because then, the next question I have is, what is innovation? What is innovation? Anybody got any ideas?
Is to create something new or to modify the previous idea according to the customer needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a conversation in the bus yesterday that I thought was interesting around this topic of data and innovation. So we were talking about banks and Mshwari, and how for a long time when we didn't have super easy access to information about the customer, collateral was the obvious way to secure a loan, because then I had guaranteed paperwork for some sort of thing I could do in response. But as we started to digitize information about people, there's more access to real-time information, remixing information, and I can start to do what I couldn't do before, which is start to predict who's going to pay and not pay, just based on behavior with the information that I have. So I could start to replace collateral with predictive models once I had digital information that allowed me to look at a more sophisticated way at my customer. So using data to predict who's going to pay was an innovation that was enabled by a couple of things. One, letting go of the idea of collateral, realizing that predicting behavior was the most important thing. And then the second thing was having digital information, so having access to telco information as well as banking information digitally, which I thought was interesting.
Exactly. The more you do, the more you'll start to see that there are new models that can come out, and you can sometimes look and leave constraints behind. A big one that we came up on our insights wall, actually, I've been around all the insights walls, collated the stickies that you put on yesterday. A big insight you all had was we need to do something about loan collateral. Well, we just hurried away. Yeah? And you guys are coming up with this all the time. So, absolutely, innovation is about spotting things, and actually the canvas is potentially a good way to think about innovation. You could innovate by having more customer segments. You could innovate by playing with your pricing. You could innovate by changing your channel model. So some models go, for example, low-cost airlines, you can only buy your tickets online. They massively reduce their costs by not having those travel agents involved. You can innovate around your value propositions, we've been talking about a lot. You can innovate by looking at your costs. If a business process is inefficient, make it more efficient, reduce your costs. There's lots of examples of that. We heard one last night in the panel from the Vodacom guys. It was costing lots of money to figure out to service customer reversal requests. They had to do it, really important for the service. There's no way you turn that business process off, but they had to innovate, and they did. And they reduced their customer care cost bill in the process. That's innovation. And you can always innovate around your key partners and resources as well. So look at your canvas and think about how innovation isn't just about customer needs and value propositions. There are other ways too.
Since you know about Kopo, why don't you tell us their competitive advantage?
Well, so that was a very good question. I should have put the microphone on you. And he asked, since I know about Kopo, what is their competitive advantage? Anybody? Well, we all struggled, didn't we? And actually, it was quite important for Kopo to think about this, because they can be copied, right? They can be copied. Their business model was to work with the mobile money providers. But the mobile money providers, they build tech, and they have distribution networks. They can build their own merchant network, right? And in fact, they have competitive advantage because they can design for USSD and SMS and SDK in Kenya. That gives them competitive advantage. They've got different channels with the customer to the merchants. So Kopo have struggled a little bit, I would say, and I think their competitive advantage was an area where they struggled. Yeah? They're still in business, they've pivoted, they've moved to a loan model, they're doing innovative things still, but they have changed. They've had to change. Okay, enough of Kopo. Let's have a go.